Hello, everybody. This is our presentation for Spring 1 for our Immigration AI Advisor project. In this presentation, we're going to go over team members' roles and responsibilities, and we took professor's input, and we'll show you the improvements. Also go over project description, our improved team working agreement, personas, MVP, technology, algorithms, diagrams, and product backlog. We'll also specifically look at Spring 1 backlog, our metrics, and finally, we'll go over our retrospective and Spring 2 planning. And Matt will finish off with the project demo. Um, so we have the same members and same roles and responsibilities, and you already know us. And in terms of improvements, Professor Wang told us during last presentation that we have to improve our team working agreement to be more specific, and project schedule, have to write it as a cadence style. We have to write it in a specific style, breaking down to each sprint, and we need to improve our personas. Also, we need to have a common shared email, which is listed there as a Google group. Finally, we made some revisions about our wiki page. So project, as everybody know, we still have the same project, same benefits and outcomes, and the link stays the same. Team working agreement. We revised our team working agreement so that we broke it down to communication, work division, and participation, code, quality assurance, meetings, and respect and team culture. So we broke it down into specific items and so that we're all on the same page.
Yeah.
And going back to the project schedule, we decided Sprint 0 would be gathering requirements, define project scope, identify key user needs, which we've already done. And Sprint 1 is basic PDF upload and parsing, which we've done that. We built and demonstrated basic functionalities of the Immigration AI Advisor. And the planned goal for Spring 2 would be extend document parsing capabilities and introduce basic AI-driven advice. And finally, for Spring 3, we wanted to improve our AI capability to provide more complex immigration advice. We rewrote our persona. We introduce you to Sarah Johnson, who is 35 years old. She is an international student advisor, and she has 8 years of experience, and her challenges are overwhelmed by repetitive tasks such as checking I-20s, I-94s, and she struggles a bit with challenging immigration rules and limited time for personalized student interactions due to workload. And her goal is to automate a lot of her routine tasks. And finally, how our immigration advisor would help her is be able to help her review the I-20s, provide preliminary personalized advice, and reduce her workload. And second, we have 22-year-old Akan Lee, whose role is a third year undergraduate international student. And he is in the computer science program with a F1 student visa. His challenge is that he needs quick, accurate immigration advice, and his goal is to be able to access this advice more quickly. So how our AI advisor would help him, it is through provide instant and accurate response for common immigration questions, and will offer a clear explanation of the I-20 form and I-94 form. And also we will, through the program, we'll be able to reduce ACAN's reliance on the availability of the International Student Office. Third, let me introduce you to Dr. Maria Rodriguez. She is 50 years old, VP of Office of Global Services. She's focusing on all the big pictures on compliance and budget planning and reduce resource allocation and policy implementation. Her challenge is for the institution to stay compliant with evolving immigration laws and balancing resources. And her goal is to use data-driven models to ensure immigration rules and compliance while running on a very limited higher ed budget. So our AI advisor would help her streamline immigration document processing and also enhance her support for international students. Um, so these are basically all the changes and personas. And now I'll let Raj introduce our MVP.
Uh, Hello everyone. So the MVP for our project is like it focuses on providing essential functionality to assist international students with immigration related needs. It allows users to upload I-20 documents, extension key information such as name and date of birth, and also our MVP is value to users that help students quickly access and verify important immigration document information, and also that saves time and reduce complexity. Our key feature of our MVP project is PDF upload. So users can upload I-20 form through a web interface. They can automatically extracts basic information, name, date of birth from the document. Also, it provides immediate value and lays the groundwork for future enhancement. Moving further through our technologies,
Okay.
Matt will continue.
So as we've begun to complete sprint one, and as we've moved farther along in terms of laying the groundwork for our project, some ideas about what we might want to use in terms of languages and frameworks have become more clear and crystallized as we've been forced to make some key decisions. We've chosen to use Python for our backend, specifically the Flask framework, in conjunction with Fast API in order to expose just a simple post endpoint for the ability for a user to upload their PDF to. We've also written tests for that functionality with PyTest. And then we've structured our front end to leverage React.js as well as some HTML and CSS. Both the back end and front end are currently contained in the same mono repo, but interact with each other independently and yet seamlessly. As we start to plan for Sprint 2, and as we move closer to some of the features that we originally promised, some of the user stories that we originally envisioned, we get closer to our overall goal, which is to offer use of AI to help with these U.S. student immigration based problems. So as we've started to plan to do so, we discuss the potential use of LLMs, common modern ones, including ChatGPT's offerings, Google's BART, Anthropic's Claude, as well as potentially the use of other machine learning based frameworks such as PyTorch and TensorFlow. We will likely soon come to a decision on which of those to use specifically. So currently, the way that we actually achieve extracting information from these I-20 PDFs is through the use of regular expressions and pattern matching. I think even as we begin to build that out, we see the limits of an approach like this in terms of expecting rigid structure to something like an I-20 form. What if an I-94 comes along? What if some other different document type comes along? Or what if it's structured a little bit differently? These are problems that we envision being right in the wheelhouse of more intelligent solutions might be machine learning based or AI based. Um, just a little bit more about LLMs below. We intend to likely use one of these tools to provide just like a minimally trained language model ready to go. And then we'll augment that model and fine tune it and train it with our own document database of immigration related content that we intend to build. Um, and then, yeah, a little bit more about TensorFlow and PyTorch below.
Okay, in terms of diagrams, we will take turns and show you our architecture diagrams, context diagrams, ER diagram, sequence diagram, and state diagrams. So first, this is a very high level overview of our architecture. So first we have the front end, we have the back end, and we will have the AI component database, and eventually we'll have external systems. These are just the current really high level kind of like a vision for the whole project, and it may take more than 4 sprints to get there. But our basically the front end and back end interact with each other through the PDF I-20, I-94 documents. And then the front back end will then interact with the AI component in terms of the parse and analyzing documents, returning immigration advice. And then the backend will interact with the database, store those document data. Finally, we would have the backend connect to the external systems for request for immigration regulation data. This is an optional step as for right now. Um, Next, Santosh is going to tell us a little bit about our context diagram.
Uh, in the context diagram, we see an international student uploads his I-20, I-94 into our immigration AI advisor. From there, we will pass the data which are required for like student advisor and VP of global service, and we will collect those data in and make a list. Yeah, that's it.
Mhm. And then Raj.
So,
Mhm.
hmm, uh, going forward through our ER diagram, so it typically shows entity of our project, which is like users, document, I-20 and an I-94, and connected through ER diagram and the relationships like users upload document or document contents field like name, date of birth, visa status. Each entity would have attributes such as users would have user IDs, something like that, and their relation will be upload documents. And for the document, it will be content field for immigration uh, information. And there is also a policy which is like on the go right now. We are onto that.
Okay. Nourish, why don't you show everybody about the sequence diagram?
Well, in the sequence diagram, basically, we're just telling what the sequence of the actions that we take. Uh, so basically, when we start with the user uploads the documents, whichever it is, I-20, I-94, to the front end. The front end then sends that document to the back end, which passes the document and sends it to the AI component to analyze the document, which then gives back the returned advice for the uh, document to the backend. Then the backend displays the advice that the AI component provided onto the front end.
Mhm. And lastly, the
And
state diagram.
yeah, so the state diagram basically provides different states that we have on the project. It starts off with the no document uploaded state where we haven't uploaded document and it's just at a resting state. Then we are uploading the document and that's where the user uploads the document. It then passes on to processing where the uploaded document is being processed, and after which it either completes the task and displays the result or it goes into the error state and which goes back to the uploading.
Sounds good. And then I will show everyone our product backlog. As required, this backlog actually contains uh, everything we have planned out, all the stories we have planned out for our project. So it started with developers understanding the immigration documents and set up the environment. And that was last sprint, which we sort of did that. And then the sprint one, basically, we thought about international students uploading the I-20, developers understanding how to implement the PDF upload functionality, and developers implementing the parsing functionality, and also developers understanding how to handle the errors. And also, we, as developers, set up the basic structure of the backend using Flask. And for the next coming up sprints, we would wanted to be able to add I-94 functionalities to it, and also have a database to store data. Finally, we would like to eventually give reports or other additional metrics-based functionalities to it. And of course, the end goal is to provide AI-based immigration advice, which we incorporated in the end last part of the user stories. And now Raj is going to show you specifically what we've done for the Spring One backlog.
So for the sprint one backlog, yeah. So for sprint one backlog or task committed for this sprint, so as a user story, as an international student, if they want to upload their I-20 documents so that can view basic information such as name, date of birth. So their acceptance criteria would be upload an I-20 from the web interface. The system extracts and displays name and date of birth. Story point will be 3. Then another user stories like as a developer, uh, like I want to implement the PDF upload functionality on the front end and back end so that student can upload their documents. Acceptance criteria would be users can upload PDF from the front end. The back end processes uploaded document. The user story would be as a developer, I want to implement basic parsing functionality for I-20 document. So the key fields would be name, date of birth can be extracted. So basically system extract all I-20 documents of their name and date of birth. That was like sprint one stories for our this thing. Moving forward, there is another moving forward. Yeah. So as a developer, I want to ensure the application has error handling during the document upload process so that user receives appropriate feedback for fail uploads. So clear error message, something like a wrong type file or corrupted file. So system logs error for troubleshooting. And another user story is like as a developer, I want to set up the basic structure of the Flask backend so that I can manage file uploads and communication between the front end and back end. and the acceptance criteria would be Flask is set up with routes to handle file uploads. The backend communicates with the front end for document uploads. So the total story points for sprint one, which were provided, was 24 story points. Moving further for sprint one backlog test cases. Santosh.
Hello guys. As Miles and Raj mentioned, these are the user cases for our sprint one. Uh, we have tested this case like as an international student have to upload a I-20 document. We have successfully uploaded the I-20 PDF and verified with and we have verified the name and date of birth of from the document. And for the next one, which is like implement PDF upload functionality on the front end and back end so that students can upload their data documents. We have tested it from the front end. It was uploaded to the back end successfully, and we have retrieved the data from it. So next slide. And for the third user story is like as a developer, I want to implement basic passing functionality for I-20 documents so that key fields like name, date of birth can be extracted. Yeah, we have implemented that also, and we have tested the system's ability to pass documents and verify the accuracy of the extracted name and date of birth. I have tested with my own I-20 and have my first name and the date of birth available when we test. And regarding the as a developer, I want to ensure that the application has error handling during the document upload process. Yes, we have checked like uh, we made a mistake of uploading the document and tried to see what happens, and the test result shows that there will be an error message telling that this is a file unsupported file types. And otherwise I got an invalid file also while I was adding other file. Instead of I-20 PDF, I uploaded some other thing. It shows the error triggers. So the next slide. As a developer, I want to set up the basic structure of the Flask backend so that I can manage file uploads and communication between the front end and back end. So yeah, we have checked with the fla- uh, we have check with the live demo. We will show in the live demo what are the requests sent, and the we have verified that the backend routes handle documents upload requests successfully, and yeah, and the text communication between the front and back end during the file upload process also. Yeah, the
Mhm.
next slide. Yeah, we have completed all the backlog stories, and we have successfully completed 24 story points.
Mhm.
And I will hand it over to Miles for the next slide. Yeah. Thank you.
To continue on what Santosh just presented, here's our metrics. We've decided that we successfully completed 5 user stories, which focused on core functionalities such as PDF uploads, parsing, and error handling. And we collectively decided that our velocity would be 24 story points. And here is our burn down chart. We're not gonna lie. It shows that, we have saved a lot of work until the second part of the project, and that is one of the things that we are looking at improving for the next sprint, which will tell you more about it. Um, in terms of the completed versus committed ratio, we committed 20. We wanted to learn how agile programming works. So we spent a lot of time understanding stories, metrics, and all that. And we've committed 24 story points, and we ended up doing all the 24 points. And next, Nuvrish is going to tell us about how we did the retrospective.
So basically, in the retrospective, we first started with what went well. which were that all the tasks that we had planned on were completed successfully, and all the meetings that were scheduled were on time taken, or everyone, almost all of the people were present every time. And then we also gained a very good understanding of the agile methodology, which was a new thing to most of us. So that was a good start to this. And then another thing was that each of the team members delivered all of the work at a very high quality. And the MVP that we had planned, it was successfully designed, and we were happy with the result. That was what we did well. Then what can be improved? We discussed about this, and we overestimated the tasks and the cost of the capacity of the tasks. And so we feel that we could have accomplished more in the given time, as you saw in the metrics that we completed most of our tasks in the second part of the time frame of sprint. And the same goes with the team. Because it was a newly formed team, we didn't know what the capacity of each member was, how much work each person could take, how much the capacity every person had. So that came into view, and we got to know about that, so we can fix that in the next sprint. Then we could again, this was discussed in the previous retrospective as well, that we could improve on the deadlines and the recording of the videos. But I think the because we completed the tasks very easily and they didn't feel that much, I think we got complacent, and that kind of got in the way. But still we will work on that, and enhancing the workload and distribution of the collaboration, which, like, basically we can work more on the team building and make it a more solid team. Then actionable items that we can just about the dead it's all about the deadlines and the creating a better structure and mechanism for the team, and improving what the capacity and how much every person can take in the deadline, and how hard that each task has to be. And we can continue on refining the workload distribution to ensure balanced collaboration between the team members. Mhm.
Thank you, Nourish. And next, Matt is going to summarize what we did for the very initial planning for Spring 2.
So for Sprint 2, again, we look more towards delivering on some of our promises, and delivering actual value for end users who are looking for assistance for their immigration related workloads, whether it be from some of the user stories that you heard from earlier, advisors, people that work in administrations, or more on the student side. Um, so we intend to provide some sort of like information retrieval system or knowledge database based on those things,
Mhm.
and provide answers to common questions and general U.S. immigration related advice. So we have a screenshot of our project demo there. We've also attached a link. There's a screenshot of some of our code, as well as a link to our GitHub repository, which contains everything, both the code and the documentation. And now I invite you to please watch this demo of what we've come up with. So here's a bit of our front end that we've collaborated on, with a simple interface for viewing some of your local files. I have a sample I-20 immigration file a PDF ready to go. This contains the information of our group member, Santosh. When I hit open, you can see that the name of the file is reflected in the front end. And I can hit this plus button, and this fires off a call to our backend, who is waiting with an API, and is able to parse that PDF that was sent over to it and extract the most relevant and impactful information, including name and date of birth, for the potential of giving customized information based on the user. Here is a bit of our code, our Python code that gets it done, as well as some of our tests. We're proud to say that we have 100% test coverage at this time. And then some of our front end code as well that teammates such as Raj and Santosh have worked hard on delivering, some of our React code and some of our CSS styling. That's pretty much it.
Matthew, can you run the tests? Can you run the 3 tests that you showed previously?
Yes.
Yeah. Of the backend, yeah.
Yes. So I can run the simple command. And right now it runs a suite of tests, automated tests, that cover the range of functionality that our backend service, our server, and our API currently offers, and makes sure everything is working properly, both that it's receiving a request, and that it's parsing the PDF correctly. But we can see potentially an itemized list of which tests exactly are passing and failing. Here we can see that all 3 tests have passed.
Yeah.
That's about it.
All right, that was absolutely great. And that concludes our presentation for Sprint 1. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody. Thank you for watching.